Firstly, I want to thank you, CJ, for joining us. Welcome to Humber, and you're no stranger to Humber. We know that for sure. We've been together for just under a decade. We've been working. You've been a member of the advisory committee. You've been a part of our employers. You've hired from us. You've sponsored projects. And today you are, for the very first time, going to be a guest speaker. Well, you've been a guest speaker before, but today, officially, you're going to be teaching us a module. And today's, love the title, The Leader in You, about leadership qualities. So thank you for that. Students, I'd like to, I did a brief intro on CJ. Real name is Chiranjeev Devgun, but we fondly call him CJ. It's pretty cool, actually. CJ is a senior technology delivery leader. He started his journey 30 years ago. He went through quite a few ups and downs in his own career, in his start. And today, after going through all of those challenges, from a job seeker into an employee, into an employer, an entrepreneur, being a consultant for organizations like Deloitte, in large companies. He is now also starting a brand new venture in his life and has published his first course on Scrum Master. Am I right?
That is correct. Yeah. Introduction to Agile more so. Yeah.
Introduction to Agile. So a phenomenal gentleman, a phenomenal leader, somebody I personally admire, has always been a part of my personal and extended network. Thank you. Thank you, CJ, for joining us. And I'd like to pass on the baton. But before I do pass the baton, I want everybody to know CJ will share his link, his LinkedIn link in the chat box. I have shared it with all of you in your announcements. If you haven't connected with him, I would highly recommend you do. You follow him, because guess what? He is also building a group of mastermind of product delivery professionals, which means he has so many connections that he can very well help you start your career. So without further ado, CJ, thank you, and over to you. I will close my video so that the recording goes without any issues, but I'm right here. If you need me, you just take my name and I'll be right there.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Meena, for kind introduction. Hello, leaders. How are you doing? Excited? I am. I'm both excited and honored to be sharing my life experiences with you. I want this session to be as informative as possible. So I have one request. Engage. More you engage, more you will learn, and I will be able to get more insight into you. You know what they say, the difference between sight and insight? Sight we see with our eyes, insight we see with our minds. Don't we all want to learn tools that will help us see things with our minds? So let's get into leadership. Please type in your chat windows, what does leadership means to you? I want to see the chat. Please start typing. So for one response, a mentor, leading by example. Keep it coming. Very nice. Understanding and working with others. Someone who can guide and relate with others, not just tell them what to do. Awesome. Anthony, Samantha, grow together. Very good. Herschel. So one more question. So do you think leaders are born or you can develop leadership skill over time? Both comes with experience. Both develop over time. Roshan comes with experience. Anthony. Some attributes come with genes. Awesome. So textbook definition of leadership is the art of motivating a group of individuals to achieve a common cause. People who inspire people, right? Now, when I was a kid, I was inspired by likes of Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Now, these are the names were very common for guys in India. And we used to have a picture of them on our wall. And why I was inspired by these individuals? Because these individuals gave up their life for freedom of our nation. And giving up life is the ultimate sacrifice anyone can make. Now, when I graduated from high school, the summer of 1987, I picked up a book called My Experiment with Truth. It is an autobiography by Mahatma Gandhi. And it completely changed my perspective for a 17, 18-year-old kid to understand what leadership means. And it encouraged me to learn more about leadership approaches and traits. So please share with me one person who has influenced you the most. And this person does not have to be a political leader or a corporate leader, because as many of you said, right, leadership is both. We are born leaders. We all have leaders in us. However, we need to work to build these leaders within us. So please share some of the names that you believe have influenced you. Could be your parents, could be your teachers, could be your uncle, could be a sports person. Absolutely. My parents, by Aisha, my uncle Chris got me into my first computer. Fantastic. Yuvraj Singh, ex-Indian cricket team members. Fantastic. So what is about them that inspires you, right? Just because they bought you a computer is not something that, in my opinion, but there's something that tells you, okay, I want to get inspired. What is that? Please share with me. What trait? My parents, Pierre Trudeau. I want to see some skills, some traits, some attributes of these individuals. This will give me an insight into how you think. Please. Charisma, skill. Correct. Yeah, we have charismatic leaders. We have servant leaders. We have transformational leaders. Yep. Keep it coming, guys. Compassion. Very good skill. Humble. Absolute. Prayed for the country when he was fighting with cancer. Awesome. Caring. Discipline. Ability to lead. Confidence. Fantastic, right? Yes. So when I started to get into leadership, I read a lot of books, and I read books on various world leaders. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Nehru, to name a few. And few skills came out as common skills that most of these individuals had. And I'm going to list a few of them. So integrity, visionary, to learn continuously, and loyalty, always give your best, self-motivator, things get done, effective communicator, and so and so. So today, I'm going to share with you 3 skills that in my opinion, are the most important skills for one to build, to grow the leader in them. So, number one is integrity. What is integrity? Not willing to compromise on your values, right? We all have values and we all have dreams, we all have goals. Individuals who would not compromise on their values and will even sacrifice their dreams, their goals. Then an incident, again, I'm going to share some history with you guys. Some of you guys may not know much of Indian history. Mahatma Gandhi was one of the great leader in Indian freedom movement, and we also call him father of India. And in 1919, he started a non-cooperation movement to get India freedom. And Gandhiji has great values in non-violence. He was a big advocate of non-violence. And at the peak of that non-cooperative movement, he called that movement off. Why? Because few of his followers burned a police station in which there were several policemen got burnt alive. And he said, my people are not ready for freedom. And he knew that that decision will not be liked by many. And many senior Congress leaders left the organization because they were unhappy with Gandhiji. But he was willing to sacrifice on his goals, but not to compromise on his values. And that is a very important attribute, trait, skill that individual must have. And Meena must have told you many times that every employer out there in this world, the most important attribute they seek in their employees is integrity. I will share with you a video by Warren Buffett. And if you guys don't know who Warren Buffett is, he is one of the wealthiest individual, but very humble leader, corporate leader. And he's talking about integrity.
That, interestingly enough, are self-made. I mean, it's not how tall you are, it's not whether you can kick a football 60 yards, it's not whether you can run the 100-yard dash in 10 seconds, whether you're the best looking person in the room. It's a whole bunch of qualities that really come out of Ben Franklin or the Boy Scout code or so, whatever it may be. I mean, it's integrity, it's honesty, it's generosity, it's being willing to do more than your share. It's just all those qualities that are self-selected. And then if you look on the other side of the ledger, because there's always a catch to these, you know, free gifts and genie jokes. So you also have to, and this is the fun part, you also have to sell short one of your classmates and pay 10% of what they do. So who do you think is going to do the worst in the class? This is way more fun. And think about it again. And again, it isn't the person with the lowest grades or anything of the sort. It's the person who just doesn't shape up in the character department. I mean, we look for three things when we hire people. We look for intelligence, we look for initiative or energy, and we look for integrity. And if they don't have the latter, the first two will kill you. Because if you're going to get somebody without integrity, you want them lazy and dumb. I mean, you don't want them smart and energetic. So it's that third quality, but everything about that quality is your choice. You know, you can't change the way you are wired much, but you can change a lot of what you do with that wiring. When you write down the qualities of that person that you'd like to buy 10% of, look at that list and ask yourself, is there anything on that list I couldn't do? And the answer is there won't be. And when you look at the person you sell short and you look at those qualities that you don't like, if you see any of those in yourself, egotism, whatever it may be, selfishness, you can get rid of that. I mean, that is not ordained. And if you follow that, and Ben Franklin did this, and my old boss Ben Graham did this at early ages in their young teens. Ben Graham looked around and he said, who do I admire? You know, and he wanted to be admired himself, and he said, you know, why do I admire these other people? And he said, if I admire them for these reasons, maybe other people will admire me if I behave in a similar manner. And he decided what kind of a person he wanted to be. And if you follow that, at the end, you'll be the person you want to buy 10% of. I mean, that's the goal in the end. And it's something that's achievable by everybody in this room.
So, again, question. So, what does integrity means to you? Please type in your chat windows. Confidence, loyalty, quality of being honest, loyal to yourself, never give up on our values. Awesome. So, yes. So, loyalty has multiple things, and honesty, sincerity, truthful, responsible, integrity. Without integrity, a person without character person is nothing. And why it is so important? Because integrity helps us build relationship. As Meena alluded to in her introduction, that the reason why I'm here is because of my relationship, is because of my relationship that has lasted for over a decade. In my 30-year career, I have maybe one or two opportunities where I have gotten that opportunity because of a job posting on a website or a newspaper. Rest all my opportunities have come to me through people I know, they like me and they trust me, right? Because this is the reality of our world. People like to do business with people they know. And knowing is not enough. They have to like them. And like is not enough. They have to trust them. So as you guys are starting your life, your professional lives, your professional careers, it is proven fact that your honesty, your sincerity, your integrity will help you build a relationship with people that they can trust you and they will refer you to opportunities all over the world. So on to the second most important trait in leaders is visionary. Every great leader is a visionary. They can visualize the future, where they want to get to, where they want to bring their people with them. So when I was a young kid growing up in India, I had this dream of coming to North America. Why? Because some of you may relate to India of 1770s and 80s. It is it was not the financial powerhouse that it is today. It was very much a socialist country. Every industry sector was controlled by one or two companies only. There was a huge red tape bureaucracy, resulting into high inflation, black marketing, um, and things like that. So the quality of life in 70s and 80s, again, people may challenge me, but it was very different back then. And so when I graduated, I wrote my GMAT. I got admitted to a grad school here to do my MBA. Now, coming from a middle class family, we didn't have a lot of money. So the plan was that I will come here in June, work the summer months, and then by September I will save some money and I will pay my tuition. And then throughout the semester I will work during daytime and go to school in the evening. Now, when I landed here in New York City, um, I got shocked. We were going through recession in 91, big one. But regardless of that, there were not too many jobs for a young kid with no experience and an undergrad degree in physics. So I came to quick realization that the future of industry is going towards information technology. So I made a decision to go back home um, and get a postgraduate diploma in information systems. And I worked for another 9 months and then I came back. So the key takeaway is that the path to your dreams is never straight. It's a complex path. And it's an uphill road. Life will throw a lot of obstacles at you. You will fail many times. And every successful man you will hear from, they will tell you the same thing. The difference is the people who have the energy in them to lift themselves up when life throws them down. And that's what visionary is. They have the dreams and they have the discipline to pursue those dreams. So here is a 5-step plan to achieve your goals. Number one, you should be able to visualize your goals. And when we say visualize your goals, means write them on a piece of paper. Because our mind is built to process, not to store information. So make sure that you write your goals on a paper. And not any loose papers. You must have a bounded notebook, notepad, a diary. Make sure you write your goals on a diary. I have my diary right here, and I always keep it, right? Anything comes to my mind, open the page, write it down. Every date, I can go back and what was I thinking that day? And those goals can change over years. As we grow, our thinking change, or we need to know what we were thinking. So make sure you write all your goals on a piece of paper. Step number 2, make sure they are SMART goals. What do we mean by SMART goals? You have all heard SMART goals. Be very specific. Make sure they are measurable. They are attainable. They are realistic. And every goal must be time boxed. Number 3, which to me is the most important reason. Write the reasons why they're important. Right? When I was telling you the story about me wanting to come to America, there were very strong reasons. And that is why I explained to you about Indian economy back in 1970s and 80s. You have to stand in line to get gasoline. You have to stand in line to get wheat. You need to stand in line to get a phone, not in line for years in line to get a simple telephone in your home back in 70s and 80s. And that is why the reason for me to come to North America into free economy where you can achieve your dreams if you work really, really hard. So make sure you have your reasons because those reasons will be the gravitational pull that will pull you towards those goals. If those pulls are not strong enough, when you fall down, you won't have the energy to get back up. And those reasons will get you back up, make you ever ready. And number 4, make sure you have a plan. Always have a plan. Because goals are only halfway. 80% of this world population have goals. But only 20% of that population have the plan and the discipline to stay the course to achieve those goals. I will repeat that. 80% of the population of this world have goals, but only 20% of that population have the discipline to stay the course to get to those dreams. And that is why we see such a big inequality out there. And it is a known fact that we, the humans, have this unique ability to not only have dreams, but to pursue them. Do you think the tree outside my house can uproot itself and move thousands of miles and replant itself in California? No. But we humans can. So make sure have your goals written on a piece of paper. Make sure those goals are SMART goals. Make sure you have strong enough reasons that will pull towards those goals. Have a plan and stay disciplined. And that brings us to our final trait, discipline. Because dreams are worthless if you do not have the discipline to act on your plan. We could be honest. We could be sincere. We have dreams. We have goals. Everything laid out on a piece of paper. But we don't have the walk to walk the talk. I will share the last video for the day. This is a video by Jim Rohn, one of my favorite motivator speaker.
Life responds to deserve, not need. Life was not designed to give us what we need. Life was designed to give us what we deserve. What we deserve. Once you understand that little life principle in your own self-interest, I'm telling you, it's life-changing. The ancient law does not go like this. If you need, you will reap. No, it doesn't work that way. A lot of people out there are hoping it works that way. But no, it doesn't. The ancient law goes like this. If you plant, you will reap. If you sow, you will reap. Somebody says, well, I really need to reap. Well, then you really need to plant in your own self-interest. Your own self-interest needs to be educated in how to plant, how to do it so everybody wins. Because life doesn't respond to need. You can't go to the soil and say, I need a crop. The soil just smiles at you. And here's what the soil says. Don't bring me your need, bring me some seed. Bring me some effort. Bring me some discipline. Bring me some interest. Bring me some service. Bring me these things, and I'll return to you multiplied by 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. You can't come with need. You've got to come with seed. You've got to come with willingness. You've got to come with skills. You've got to be willing to learn, willing to change, willing to grow, willing to put yourself out, willing to stand up to the bad weather, willing to pull out the weeds, willing to nurture. That's the only way you get a return. Once you understand these principles, self-interest now truly becomes an exciting challenge, making sure everybody wins. Enlightened self-interest makes sure that everybody wins. Now here's another one. If you want to find, you must search. And if you search, you will find. In order to find, you must search. You must go to church. You must go to the seminar. You must go to the library. You've got to go to the bookstore. You've got to go to the class. You've got to go to the training. You've got to go searching. Why? If you search, you will find. You'll find ideas. You'll find inspiration. You'll find hope. You'll find contacts. But you've got to be out there, on the search, on the look. Life reserves its treasures for those who deserve it, not those who need it. Enlightened self-interest, giving so that you will receive, searching so that you will find, making sure that everybody wins all the way around. Enlightened self-interest needs to be educated. Enlightened self-interest says, I will learn that life is not just the passing of time. I will learn that life is the collection of experiences, ups and downs, highs and lows, laughter and tears. You must decide to act. You must have the discipline to act. Now, here's what's important about discipline. One discipline affects another discipline. All disciplines affect each other. In fact, here's a good philosophical phrase. Everything affects everything else. Nothing stands alone. Don't be naive and say, this doesn't matter. Of course it matters. It all matters. Some things may matter more than others, but everything matters. If you'd rather sleep in than go for a walk around the neighborhood, pretty soon it will matter. If you'd rather spend your money instead of saving it, pretty soon it will matter. If you'd rather put off a letter to an old friend instead of corresponding regularly, pretty soon it will matter. If you'd rather work late every night instead of going home and spending time with your family, pretty soon it will matter. It all matters. Every letdown affects the rest. If you won't walk around the block, you probably won't eat right. And you probably won't buy the books. And you probably won't attend the seminars. And you probably won't spend your money wisely. And after years of this, it all adds up. So the key to reversing this process is to start picking up the disciplines. It does matter. It all matters. Now, here's the positive side. Every new discipline affects the rest. Every new discipline makes a difference. That's why action is so important. The smallest action, the least action, the action that you won't think will matter, it all matters. Take it. Because when you start accomplishing and the value starts to return, you'll find inspiration to do the next one and the next one and the next one. If you start walking around the block, it'll inspire you to start eating right. You start eating right, it'll inspire you to get a book. You get a book and it'll inspire you to get a journal. You get a journal and it'll inspire you to develop some skills. Disciplines affect each other. Lack affects the rest of your life. The key is to diminish the lack. One of our greatest temptations is to just ease up a bit, to do just a little bit less than you're capable of, to take a little break. Somebody says, it'll just affect my sales. No, it'll affect your consciousness. It'll affect your philosophies. It'll affect your home life. It'll affect everything. No, you can't ease up a bit. That's what vacations are for. When you're at work, work. When you're on vacation, rest. Wherever you are, be there. If you think about vacation when you're at work, you'll surely think about work when you're on vacation. You'll just mess it all up. So be disciplined. Get involved. Do all that it takes to get the job done. Get your health back. Get your bank account where it's supposed to be. Get your family in order. Get disciplined, be disciplined every day. When you set up the disciplines that give your life structure, miracles can happen, multiplied. And I'm telling you, anybody who wants to make a drastic change in their income can do it. I was broke at age 25 and a millionaire at age 31. Everything around me was the same. I changed. I refined my philosophy. I read the books. I took the classes. Started looking at life a little differently. I'm telling you, it works. Self-expression. Isn't self-expression really self-direction? How you think, how you move, how you motivate yourself? It is. And ambition is a result of self-direction. Positive self-direction says, I know who I am and I know where I want to go. I am accumulating knowledge and experiences and feelings and philosophies that will help prepare me for opportunities that I know will show up without notice. Positive self-direction. You know who you are and where you want to go. You've already spent a great deal of time thinking about it. You've been working on the parts of your personality that will make you better. Working on your attitude. Working on your health. Working on your time management skills. Putting it all down on paper. And you constantly see yourself in the place that you want to be. As you talk with yourself every day, how often do you ask, is what I am doing today getting me closer to where I want to be tomorrow? Am I making the daily adjustments necessary? Am I doing all that it takes? Will I keep on doing it until? Direction determines destination. Here's a question you need to ask yourself. Are all of the disciplines that I'm currently engaged in taking me where I want to go? Are all of the disciplines I am presently engaged in taking me where I want to go? What an important question at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the day. Because here's what you don't want to ever do: kid yourself. You know, kid your neighbor and kid me and kid the marketplace if you want to, but gosh, you can't kid yourself. With your fingers crossed hoping you'll arrive at a good destination when you're not even headed that way. You say, well, maybe the wind will take me. Well, there's a chance. But you've got to take charge. You've got to ask yourself often, am I? Am I doing the disciplines that are taking me in the direction that I want to go? I don't want to be faked out here and think I'm on the way to financial success when there's not a prayer, not a hope. I don't want to be faked out hoping that there's someone else who's going to take care of it. Take care of me. They're not going to take care of it. They're not going to take care of me. What if all of your negative relatives turn positive? What'll that do for your fortune and your future? Not much. If prices come down a little, what'll that do for your fortune and your future, and your sophistication and your culture? What'll that do? Not much. If the economy gets a little better, what'll that do? Answer, not much. If you don't make plans of your own, you'll fit into someone else's plans. And guess what they have planned for you? You're right. Not much. Most people wake up every morning counting on this not much list. And that's why what they have is not much. Not much hope, not much promise, not much progress. They're driving what they don't want to drive, living where they don't want to live, doing what they don't want to do. Forget the thief waiting in the alley to snatch your purse. What about the thief in your mind? Lazy, not stimulated by thoughts and questions. Don't become a victim of yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Is this the direction I want for my life? Is it someone else's direction? Is it a goal that I have been ingrained with since my childhood? Is it my parents' or my spouse's or my boss's or my children's? Is it mine?
So what do you think? Very powerful. I listened to Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, almost every morning. Very, very powerful thoughts, things that will help you improve. So back to my story, right? So I went back to India. I came back. Now that I have computer degree, that I've worked in the industry for a year, there should be jobs lining up for me. Surprise, surprise. Not a single job. You know how many interviews I got? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, nada. Not a single interview. Every day I will print my resume, mail them, because in those days emails were not out there. So you have to physically mail, and the person who doesn't have money to just put a stamp, it costs money. So I ended up doing a lot of starter jobs. I worked as a cook at KFC. I drove taxi. I worked as a courier guy. Very difficult 5, 6, 7 months. And then my dad came and he saw me struggling. He says, what happened? Why are you not working in your own industry? I said, there are no jobs. He said, there are no jobs. I see in the newspaper, there are a lot of jobs out there. Yes, but I sent my resumes. Nobody even called me for an interview. Then what do you need to do? I said, that's it. That's the end of the road for me. Really? Yes. What else can you do? What are people telling you? Have you spoken to anyone? Yes, I've gone to the networking events for people where I met them. They said they don't really recognize any education done in India back in early 90s. So what are they telling you? They are telling me that I have to go back to school. Then what is stopping you from going back to school? Same question. I don't have money. He said, doesn't matter. Son, you have to go back to school. So I went back to school. Good thing within 6 months, because I've already done all these degrees, I was able to propel. I was on the dean's list. One of the professor knew a startup company that was starting in Ottawa, and they required an internet administrator. So he introduced me to the entrepreneurs. I went for the interview. They said, "Do you know anything about internet?" I said, "Nope. I learned COBOL, I learned DBase 3, I learned C, I learned, all those languages, but no, I don't know about internet. But I promise you, they give me 7 days, and by the end of seventh day, I will know anything and everything I need to do my job." And they asked me second question, "How much salary do you want?" I said, "I don't care. All I want is an opportunity to work in my industry. Give me whatever you think is the right salary for a person to survive in this country, and I'm happy. For 1 year, I will not ask you for anything. After 1 year, we will sit down and look at my appraisal. And at that time, I will expect market compensation." And that's how I started my career as an internet service provider, as an internet administrator. So we still have ISPs, but ISPs are now going directly to Bell, Rogers. But in those days, there were intermediaries, as we call, and they will get ADSL line from these big companies, mostly Bell at that time. And then we will have a pool of modems that average household will dial in using their 14 kilobit um, dial-in modems, and then they will get connected to the internet. So that was how I started. And then I learned about internet programming. We did a lot of very early days programming, bulletin boards, databases, and there were no internet technology. So we were writing programs in C and then having pre-compilers and then running Unix shell scripting to call those programs and getting those programs running. Amazing time. I really learned a lot during those early years. So from programming, I got into data modeling, I got into data architecture, I got into overall application architecture, then to project manager. And by early 2002, I was appointed as a North American technology director for a company called Computer Sciences Corporation, which is now called DXC. And that's what my career was. But I didn't stop learning at that stage. When I was practice director, there were a lot of people with their MBAs, and I still had my MBA left on the shelf. So I went back to Western and I did my executive MBA in 2003 to 2004. And I started my own company in 2007. And then learning doesn't stop. In 2011, I believe I was one of the earliest Canadian, I think 26th or 27th, don't quote me on that, to get my PGMP. And it has still not stopped. Even today, I make sure that I stay abreast with the latest that is going on in the industry. Yes, I haven't actually touched keyboard as a programmer in many, many decades, but I can still talk to any programmer out there and understand and get the job done. So the key takeaway is success will come to every individual as long as they are prepared to work hard, are willing to do whatever it takes. So here are the 4 most important things when it comes to discipline. Number 1, intense hard work. In early part of 90s, I did not remember taking any vacation. I joke sometimes with my wife now that in our 20s we didn't take much vacation, but life has given me a lot of vacation. Now I take 4 vacations a year. But in the early part of 90s, it was intense hard work. There were long weekends. We built an Oracle search engine using lot of 3G programming languages. Long weekend of July, and we were living in Ottawa, and kids wanted to go to the Parliament Hill. I said to my wife, "You go. I have to finish this work." So I was working on my deliverables. Very, very critical that you need to have that sense of responsibility that you have committed, you need to deliver. Part of integrity. Focus. At that time, I had complete focus. I wasn't thinking about anything else. That was all what I needed to do. Time management. Yes, I wasn't very good at time management at that part of the time. Like I said, I had my wife go take my kids. Um, your work-life balance has to be there. Very, very important. As Jim was saying that if you are working very long hours, eventually your family will suffer and that will show up. But in my case, it wasn't that because it was first few years of that intense labor. And by the time I became at an architect level, that was 96. I was within CGI was the company at that time. Um, so I became senior manager. But that focus is very important, right? You have to have very clear um, dreams and goals and marching towards them. And the time management, how you manage your time, right? You work hard, but you have to work smart. Very, very important. And then the fourth most important thing, if you don't take anything from today's session, one thing that you must take is that you must constantly, I'm repeating myself, learn, improve upon you. I need to improve who I am from yesterday, and I need to be better version of myself tomorrow than I am today. That's my goal. The day I stop learning, that's the peak. And we all know what happens after peak, right? We don't want to get there. So now one of the most important thing for discipline, and I was talking about that earlier when we were talking about dreams, is accountability partner. When we were kids, we had accountability partners. Who were our accountability partners when we were kids? Our parents. How many times they said, we don't want to go to school, I'm not feeling well, mommy, I just want to stay home. And my mother would say, no, you are going. So she was the one who was holding my feet to fire. When we were in school, we had our accountability partners. Our teachers were accountability partners. They weren't as polite as my mother, but they were still keeping my feet to fire. At work, we had accountability partners. We had our customers, our bosses, who ensure that we meet our deliverables, we meet our commitments. Now, in between work and your careers and goals, there is no accountability partner. I will strongly encourage you guys to have that accountability partner. Concept of coach. It could be your uncle, it could be your brother, it could be Meena, it could be anyone else. Someone you trust, you can share your dreams, your goals, and you trust them that they will show you the right path. Yes, accountability partners will tell you as is. Only then they are true accountability partners. If they're sugarcoating, then they are not. But they're not criticizing either. They need to provide you constructive feedback, things that you need to do, realistic things that you can do, attainable goals, right? Very important thing that I talked about. Your goals must be realistic. Your goals must be attainable. If I say I'm going to lose my weight or I'm going to go play a quarterback, if I put that goal, that's not a realistic goal. That's not an attainable goal to go become a quarterback in NFL. So the goals needs to be realistic, goals needs to be attainable, and your accountability partners will help you make sure that you get to your goals. So if you aspire to reach the pinnacle of your career, and I'm sure you all aspire that, you must prepare yourself to make sure that every day you are a better version of yourself. So ask yourself every day in the morning, are you prepared to do whatever it takes to realize your dream? And when I say everything, meaning in legal ways, right? Integrity is always there. So legally, whatever it takes, are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to wake up early and stay up late? Are you prepared to invest in yourself? You're going to read books. You're going to attend seminars. You're going to invest in a coach. All those things are important because you need to visualize where you want to be. Don't make decisions from where you are sitting right now. Make decisions from where the future self. So with that, I think we have come to the end of our talk today. My goal was to provide you tools to grow the leader in you. I firmly believe, as I started, that we all have leader in us. We all are born leaders, but yes, we need to continuously work on developing, growing the leader in us. Now, as Meena was mentioning at the start of the session, I am starting a private Facebook community. You can learn more about that by visiting this website. I will actually type it in on the chat window also. Here are some contact details for me. My name, as Meena mentioned, is Chiranjeev Devgun, but I mostly go by CJ. So when you search, you will get more results by typing in CJ Devgun than you may by typing in Chiranjeev. My email address is listed there. My LinkedIn page is there. My website is there. I will encourage you to connect with me. I'm always available for young individuals because I know the processes you're going through, because I've gone through that, the challenges you're going through. And at times, we all require some coaching. We all require some guidance. We all require hand-holding. So it is time for me to pay forward. All those people who have helped me, I cannot help them. Same way, if I help you, you're not going to be helping me, but you will be helping the next generation. So with that, thank you so much. I will open the floor for question and answers. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm here to answer any questions.
What an amazing, amazing workshop. Got me thinking so much. Thank you, CJ, for this enlightenment. Guys, girls, this is your time to ask any questions you may have. CJ's here for another few minutes. Well, thank you so much, CJ. It was, I guess that was brilliant. And I'm going to watch the recording once again because I love those videos that you shared. Excellent examples as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for all the wisdom and guidance and the amazing nuggets we got today. Hopefully we will see you very soon in person.
Absolutely. Pleasure was mine. Honor. Ciao.